The 2015 general elections, which has the ruling party become the opposition, elicited mostly positive reactions from Nigerians. It also reawakened the realization that the people's vote can bring change. The next stage now is implementation of that change which the people voted for, and an analysis of the economy presently shows that many sectors need immediate attention. So, where should the Muhammadu Buhari administration begin its work? Nigerians speak on this episode of Big Story. I'm Ini Thompson. Catering for over 173 million people is obviously hard work. That is what is cut out for the federal government of Nigeria. That mantle is now in the hands of President Muhammadu Buhari, and with the unprecedented process which brought him to power, expectations are very high. He inherits an economy where the major source of revenue, which is oil, has recorded an all-time low in global prices at just about $50. This has brought the aggregate gross domestic product in nominal terms to just about 21 million naira at basic prices, whereas in preceding quarter, the GDP was about 24.2 million naira, lower by 13.07%. The power sector, which has recorded a drop in available power from 4,800 megawatts to an all-time low of 1,327 megawatts. A security situation which had only just begun recording a laudable victory in the last 2 months, and a disagreement between the federal government and petroleum marketers which has almost brought economic activities to a standstill, among other needs. And so it's no wonder the Nigerians are eager for him to settle in to the main business of dealing with these challenges. But he has tried to remind Nigerians that he has no quick fix.
We are trying to dampen the high expectations. That there no way we can play miracles because the damage took 16 years, especially of the economy, therefore unemployment. It will take time for us to put the infrastructure correct, start the factories, especially textiles, which employs a lot of people. But now they virtually hardly employ anybody other than people who keep watch on their properties. And of course the unemployment of the youth. So we are banking on agriculture and mining to quickly get everybody to get some job before a detailed study, is made and implementation starts. Elected gubernatorial governor, his deputy, and the legislatures, both senators, representatives, and to tell their constituencies that they should please exercise more patience when we eventually come in. Let them give us time before they expect miracles or high performance.
And so the president is very much aware of Nigerians' needs. However, some seem more pressing. For instance, long queues at filling stations as a result of subsidy money to the tune of 200 billion naira owed to oil marketers. This calls for attention to the petroleum industry. A lot has been said about reorganizing the sector to make it more efficient and cost-effective, and ultimately find a lasting solution to importation of fuel by reviving the existing refineries which seem to have been ignored for many years now.
When the refineries were breaking down due to lack of poor maintenance, capital expenditure were not being met. Could you imagine in a particular year, the refineries might not get fund to replace some equipment, and when the refineries were provided with sudden money, then some importation of spare parts were made, and there was total imbalance, in the maintenance of the refineries. You see, in most countries, the primary objective of refinery operation is to avoid downtime, in which case you are able to assess what will be required to keep your refinery up and running. And you have spare parts that are warehoused to enable you pick and fix as quickly as possible. But that is in countries that manufacture even the spare part, the equipment. Come to think of a country that is just import, and we don't manufacture anything here. look at the time lag it takes to bring the spare parts from those places to here. So it now calls for urgent need for us to be able to accurately determine, our equipment requirement. So whenever there's any breakdown, you just quickly take and fix.
As a long-term solution, Dr. Fawibe calls for an initial investment in building refineries by the government with the intention to hand over to private sector after it has stabilized. This, he says, should be supported with some regulation of the sector.
I maybe buy crude oil, which is the feedstock for producing petroleum products, at say $100 per barrel. If the price goes down to $80 per barrel, of course it will affect the price of my refined product. So I will be able to bring the price down. If the price goes down to $50 per barrel, as the case may be, I will be able to bring down the price, but I have to take control. Then government can then start to provide a framework, because there is no country, especially in developing countries, that will leave that sensitive sector to forces of supply and demand alone, market forces alone. You still provide a sort of guideline, but not in terms of saying, okay, you have, you can only sell your product at this price, you can only sell your product at this price. That has been the issue. And for this kind of economy, where there are all kinds of risk, some of the investors were asking for guarantees. Because a government can come up with a policy today that will completely upturn the basis, the economics of my setting up the refinery. So they want some elements of guarantee. Government says, I cannot give you guarantee. So these are some of the problems. But be that as it may, we cannot get out of this logjam unless we have additional refineries.